Yo, and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope your week's getting off to a good start. Yeah, it was a kind of crazy busy weekend. I spent all day Saturday getting back from Ecuador, going, just traveling. And then yesterday I got to be a part of Hobbypalooza 2024, which of course moved over to For Collectors this year. And I thought they did a great job. I've got to go back and kind of catch up on some of those episodes that I missed on Saturday and parts of Sunday, but got to do the Mickey Mantle Showcase Showdown there with Chris. It was great. He won if you didn't include the All-Stars. I included if you included the All-Stars. So that was a good way to finish off season one of that. Chris and I are going to be taking a break from that if you didn't get a chance to see it. I will put a link down below if you didn't get a chance to see it. It was a whole lot of fun. I will tell you to go watch that if you haven't. But we're going to take a little bit of a hiatus for a month or two and be adding a lot more players to the Wheel of Names. It's just a busy time in the summer, and so he and I are going to kind of take a step back from that and kind of regroup and relaunch that again. It's not over. It's just taking a minute to chill out. What else? I've got a PSA order I'm going to be revealing today. This is an order that came back last week. These are all cards that I got from really the basement collection, honestly. There were tons of 80s sets, and I had a lot of gaps in the 80s that I was missing for my 4-decade set, and PSA ran a special a few months ago. These actually came back early based on the expected completion time, so that's good, but they came in last week, and I just haven't shown them yet. I got another order from the Grail collection coming back this week, which will be great, and I'll show that to you guys when I get that. A bunch of cards in that one that I'm going to be keeping, so I'm excited for it to get back. And yeah, just lots going on. So this is all 80s cards, so it's going to be nostalgia and childhood for me galore. And it was one of those orders that it was, I think, 19 cards. It won't take very long, but it was some perplexing grades, some normal grades, some expected grades, I guess. But overall, kind of the old is what it is. Yeah, it was a special too. I can't remember what it was per card. $14.99 a card, $15.99 a card, something like that. So I'll explain my theory and how I do this in my brain here in a second. I'll flip it around and we'll talk about that. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. So yeah, the way I think about this stuff typically is on the 80s cards, I kind of go look at what the card, if I can just buy it, I'm going to buy it. Honestly, I don't want to grade these myself. I'd rather just buy them already graded. Somebody else did the work. They got the grades, because there are some cards in here that are not what I would like to have permanently in my collection, but it's also one of those, I'll get to certain cards. I'll show you what I'm talking about, but 80s cards, if I get 8s or 9s, that's perfectly fine with me. That's kind of the expectation of any raw card from the 80s to me. I mean, near mint to mint is good. So that's everybody expects 10s in modern, ultra modern, but that is not the way it was back in the day. You have cutting, centering issues and quality control issues. Cards did not come out of the pack perfect. And so these were all pulled from complete sets from the basement collection, and yeah, send them off. First one here, these are all 4-decade cards. Just 80s was the area I needed the most work in, and so this knocks off a chunk right here. Earl Weaver manager card in a 9. So like I said, 8s and 9s are great for the price that I paid to grade. Dick Williams manager card in a 9. Then Gary Carter in an 8. Base Gary Carter. And we've got, this is one that, so Burt Blyleven, 84 tops in a 6. First of all, these all came out, like every card from if it's 84, there's a bunch of 84s in here. They're all from the same set. So this card happens to be a 6 for whatever reason that PSA thought it was. If I'm looking online, you can get an 84 Topps Burt Blyleven and a 9 for about 30 bucks all in. This cost me 15, and again, I didn't think this was a 6, or else I wouldn't have sent it. But the reality is came back a 6, and so whatever PSA thinks is what they think. And but it's still cheaper than, and this will be just a placeholder. I'm not going to replace this card anytime soon, for sure. But I'm definitely not going to grade it again. But I'll either find a cheap one graded in an 8 or a 9 or something. But the ones right now you can find are $30. And so before I sent this off, I went and looked at every one of these cards. I looked at what I could buy just a graded one for. There were several that were in my last, in fact, it was yesterday, my mail day, the 83 Topps Earl Weaver. I would have sent that off, but I could buy one for like $15. So I just went in and bought one instead of grading one myself. If I can do it for pretty close that it would cost me to grade it, I'll just buy it graded, no problem. But this one wasn't true, so I sent it in and it came back a 6. Here is the AL Active Home Run Leaders with Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson on it. That came back an 8. Ted Simmons came back a 7. But like the pop on this Ted Simmons is so low, nobody grades these. And so if you want one graded like I do, you can argue that no one needs a Ted Simmons 84 Topps card graded. Well, you may not, but I want one, and so I wanted one graded. And the pops are low on these in any grade, so it's just easier to send it off. Whitey Herzog Manager card in a 9. So again, all these were from the same set. And you've got 9, 7, 8, 6. All pulled from the same set. Go figure. Here's Gary Carter. That came back a 9. 84. I think that finishes the cards in this order. I think finish off my Gary Carter base run. So it's weird that I hadn't gotten those before. Harold Baines in a 9. Again, all these from the same set. The Mets batting and pitching leaders with Tom Seaver. That came back a 9. Honestly, that was my expectation on all these cards, was at least an 8, if not a 9. There's Jack Morris, got an 8. Steve Carlton, card number 1. This also came back a 6. And I guess that shouldn't surprise me. It's card number 1, so it's going to have, condition issues being even in the front of a box. If it's in a box for a set, it's going to get bumped around and messed up probably a little bit more than your average card, but there's that. Had an 84 Donruss here. This was a card that my buddy JT sent me raw. He said, hey, I saw you needed the Dawson. I was like, well, I'm sending in an 80s order. So he sent this to me and I sent it off. I got a 9. So that's awesome. 83 Topps, which is the Angels pitching leaders here. That came back an 8. Rod Carew on it. Goose Gossage Super Veteran came back a 7. So now we're into 83s. Again, all came out of the same set. The base card came back an 8. So I didn't have either of the Gossage cards from 83 Topps. By the way, this is the new holder. These are all new holder cards. Dude, this holder is no joke. And it barely fits in these perfect fit sleeves. I ordered some more yesterday that fit the new slabs. This is super tight, and I really like it, actually. I mean, it's in there. It looks really good in the superior fit sleeve, but it takes some finagling to get them in there. But definitely a more robust slab. I mean, you can almost hear it when I put them down. Dick Williams manager card in an 8, 83. 2 more. Tommy Lasorda in an 8. And then last but not least, Don Sutton, the great Don Sutton in an 8. So yeah, that many more notches knocked off the Master Want list, the 4-decade set. I think I said yesterday that I am down to, God, let me look. I can't remember what I'm down to. I'm under 100. I think it's 86 or 88 cards pulling up my spreadsheet here, as we all have. 88. I am 96.43% complete with the 4-decade set. It's 2,465 cards. I have 2,377 of them. That's just bonkers. I never thought I'd be this close this fast, honestly, since I've been doing it, I guess, 7 or 8 years. So it's not like I started doing this yesterday, but just to see the progress that I've been able to make, slow and steady, has been great. And yeah, that's it for that one, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day and a great week. I'll see you later this week with another PSA reveal. Have a good one. Keep collecting.